In Central America, a seismic shift is underway, one that could reshape global trade and power. The centuries-old dream of a canal through Nicaragua is back, this time with China's formidable backing. This isn't just about ships, it's about challenging US dominance and creating a new artery for world commerce, potentially controlled by Beijing. The stakes are enormous, affecting everything from global supply chains to military strategy in the Western Hemisphere. As of January 2026, the world's eyes are on Managua and Beijing. Nicaragua, under President Daniel Ortega, has thrown its lot in with China, reviving the canal project once dismissed as a lost cause. For the US, it's a direct challenge in its own backyard. For Panama, it's an existential threat to its canal. For Nicaraguans, it's a promise of prosperity, or a risk of displacement and environmental disaster. The Nicaragua Canal is more than a construction project. It's a geopolitical chess match. The question is no longer if a second canal will be attempted, but how, and by whom. China's renewed push, with its capital and political will, has changed the conversation entirely. Infrastructure is now a tool of international influence, and quiet diplomacy has given way to bold, earth-moving ambition. In this video, we'll explore the history, the key players, and the high-stakes drama behind the canal's dramatic revival. We'll examine the facts, the reactions from Washington to Panama City, and the expert opinions shaping the debate. This is a story of ambition, power, and the lives of thousands, one that could redefine global power for generations. The world is watching, because the outcome will affect us all. The idea of a Nicaraguan canal predates even the Panama Canal. Spanish conquistadors first imagined it in the 1500s, hoping to connect the Atlantic and Pacific through Lake Nicaragua. For centuries, the dream was stymied by cost and engineering challenges. In the 1800s, the US considered Nicaragua the prime canal route, especially during the gold rush, when Cornelius Vanderbilt proved its viability. Detailed plans were drawn, but lobbying and fears of volcanic instability, fueled by clever propaganda, shifted US focus to Panama. In 1903, the US backed Panama's secession and built its canal, sidelining Nicaragua's ambitions. For decades, the Nicaraguan Canal remained a symbol of lost opportunity, resurfacing as a political rallying cry but never materializing. Panama prospered, while Nicaragua's dream lay dormant. Yet for many Nicaraguans, the hope for their own canal never died. It simply waited for a new era, and a new global power, to try again. The 21st century brought China into the Nicaraguan Canal story. In 2012, President Ortega announced the Grand Interoceanic Canal Project, granting a 100-year concession to the mysterious HKND Group, led by Chinese tycoon Wang Jing. The plan, a canal 3 times longer and wider than Panama's, to be finished by 2020. Wang Jing promised billions, but questions swirled about his finances and ties to Beijing. The project's fate was tied to Wang's fortune. When the Chinese stock market crashed in 2015, Wang lost most of his wealth, and the canal's funding vanished. Equipment sat idle, and by 2018, the project was dead. HKND closed its doors, leaving behind broken promises and deep skepticism in Nicaragua. The first Chinese-backed attempt ended not with a bang, but a whimper. For Nicaraguans, it was another bitter disappointment. The dream was revived, only to be snatched away once more. Yet the story wasn't over. It was just the prologue to a new, more serious chapter. After HKND's collapse, Ortega's government didn't give up on the canal. The lesson: a project this big needs a superpower, not a single tycoon. Ortega and Vice President Rosario Murillo pivoted directly to the Chinese state. In December 2021, Nicaragua severed ties with Taiwan and recognized Beijing, signaling its allegiance. The canal was the unspoken prize in this new alliance. Chinese delegations soon arrived, and economic cooperation deals followed. In May 2024, Nicaragua revoked HKND's concession, clearing the way for new partners. This time, China's state-owned giants. Ortega's government, now more authoritarian and stable, became China's most reliable ally in the region. The message: the canal dream is alive. Now, with Beijing's full backing. This is no longer a billionaire's gamble, but a strategic partnership between two governments. The failure of the first attempt set the stage for a more serious, state-driven push. Nicaragua is now China's foothold in a region long dominated by the US. the canal's revival is happening under very different and far more serious circumstances. The stakes have never been higher. By early 2026, the Nicaragua Canal is back on the diplomatic fast track. After revoking HKND's concession, Nicaragua and China signed a sweeping infrastructure agreement, making the canal the centerpiece. This time, powerful Chinese state-owned firms are involved, and the project is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Feasibility studies, environmental assessments, and financing models are underway. On the ground, land surveys and population censuses signal preparations for land acquisition. Local communities, especially indigenous groups, are wary. Memories of broken promises and displacement linger. The timeline is ambitious but more measured, with a comprehensive feasibility study due by the end of 2026. The world is watching to see if this planning phase will lead to real construction. For now, the canal exists in a state of intense, quiet preparation. The next move could change global trade forever. The prospect of a Chinese-backed canal in Nicaragua has set off alarms in Washington. For over a century, the U.S. has considered Central America its sphere of influence, with the Panama Canal as its crown jewel. A rival canal, built and operated by China, is seen as a direct, strategic threat. Publicly, U.S. officials question the project's viability and highlight environmental and corruption concerns. Privately, the Pentagon fears a Chinese military foothold near U.S. shores. The U.S. is ramping up alliances with Panama, Costa Rica, and Colombia, offering aid and joint exercises to counter China's influence. The message, siding with China, could have consequences for regional partners. Diplomatically, the U.S. is trying to slow the project without pushing countries further into China's orbit. China frames its involvement as commercial. The U.S. sees it as a geopolitical weapon. For now, Washington is in a reactive posture, using its leverage to stall the canal's momentum. The question: can U.S. pressure deter China's long-term ambitions in America's backyard? Nowhere is the canal's impact felt more than in Panama. The Panama Canal is the nation's economic lifeblood and source of pride. A Nicaraguan canal would be the first real competition, threatening Panama's monopoly on transoceanic shipping. Panama has invested billions to expand its canal, but a larger Nicaraguan route could siphon off global shipping traffic and revenue. Publicly, Panamanian officials project confidence, touting their canal's reliability and downplaying Nicaragua's chances. Privately, anxiety runs deep. Panama also relies on China as a major canal user, complicating its response. The government is exploring further expansions and working closely with the U.S. to monitor developments. Panama is caught between two superpowers, trying to protect its future in uncertain waters. Its century of experience will be tested by its northern neighbor's disruptive dream. The canal's cost isn't just geopolitical, it's deeply personal for Nicaragua's people and environment. The proposed route would cut through Lake Nicaragua, the region's largest freshwater source, threatening water quality and aquatic life. Dredging and ship traffic could introduce salt water and stir up toxic sediment, risking ecological disaster. Rainforests and protected reserves would be destroyed, endangering species like the jaguar. Up to 120,000 people, many indigenous, face displacement from ancestral lands. Legal protections have been ignored, leaving communities with little recourse. Protests during the first attempt were met with harsh crackdowns. Now, fear and resistance are rising again. For many, the canal is a threat to their way of life and national identity. Critics warn it could leave a legacy of social upheaval and environmental ruin. The promise of prosperity comes with a heavy price. The Nicaragua Canal stands at a crossroads of politics, power, and people. Ortega's government wants a transformative legacy. China sees a strategic trade route. The U.S., Panama, and Nicaraguans themselves are caught in the middle. Optimists see prosperity and a new world order. Skeptics warn of environmental disaster and economic folly. The project's fate hinges on political will, global rivalry, and the voices of those most affected. The world is watching this narrow strip of land. Its future will reveal much about the next era of global power. Will the centuries-old dream finally be realized, or collapse under its own ambition? The story is far from over. The decisions made here could reshape the world for generations.